Yep.
Anything for him?
Okay, it is 8:01, and I would like to call the July 10th regular council meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council, you are aware that the President of Council is not in attendance tonight. And with that, is there any objections to the past President of Council, Dennis Wollenczak, serving as President? Hearing that there is not, Mr. Wollenczak, you are President Pro Tem. And the meeting is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to ask Clerk of Council, Ms. Cassie Rawson, to take a roll of council for attendance this evening.
Mr. Davish?
Here.
Mr. Drake?
Here.
Mr. Horniak?
Here.
Mrs. Paula? Mr. Reeves?
Here.
Mr. Wollenczak?
Here.
Mr. Zale?
Thank you. As you're aware, Mr. Zale, Councilman Zale is not in attendance, as well as Councilwoman Pauloff. They both have some family matters that they have to attend to this evening. Therefore, I'll seek a motion to excuse their absence.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move to excuse Mr. Zale and Ms. Paula from tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Davish.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Horniak. Council, any objections? Hearing no objections, they are excused from tonight's meeting. Also joining us at council this evening are Clerk of Council, Ms. Cassie Rawson, Mayor Michael Safarian, City Administrator, Mr. Joel Mazer, Law Director, Melissa Purpura, the Public Service Director, Mr. Paul Roman, Finance Director, Nick Roman, our Police Chief, Brandon Began, Assistant Chief, Ryan Spangler, our Fire Chief, Mr. Clayton O'Brien, and our Recreation Commissioner, Tim Orton. Council, the first order of business would be the approval of the meeting minutes from the June 26, 2023 regular meeting of council.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Reeves.
I move to accept or approve the minutes from the June 26, 2023 regular council meeting as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves.
Second.
Second by Mr. Drake. Council, any objections? Hearing no objections, the meeting minutes from the June 26, 2023 regular meeting of council are approved as submitted. Council, we did not have a committee of the whole meeting last week. Therefore, we need to add items 95 through 99 of 2023 to this evening's agenda. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. Second by Mr. Horniak. Council, is there any objections? Hearing no objections, items number 95 through 99 of 2023 are added to this evening's agenda. Mayor, would you like to do the hirings at the beginning?
No, just go.
Okay. All right. We will start with item number 95 of 2023. Item number 25 is being presented by Mayor Michael J. Safarian and Police Chief, Mr. Brandon Began. We're going to go directly to Chief Began. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor and Mr. President. This is a standard contract that we enter into with the Lucas County Sheriff's Office. They have received grant funding for targeted OVI enforcement, and we're fully reimbursable for any actions that we take. And this is just a standard contract to put that in writing.
Thank you, Chief Began. Councilors, any questions for the administration on item number 95 of 2023?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Drake.
Mr. Vegan, are there certain dates that the state or the county picks to work those grant cars, or is it your discretion?
Yeah, they have periods where there's extra enforcement of that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Drake. Councilors, any further questions for the administration on item number 95? Hearing no further questions, I will sign item number 95 with ordinance number 95 of 2023 and ask Ms. Rawson to read it into the record. Ms. Rawson?
Authorizing the mayor, finance director, and the chief of police to enter into a memorandum of understanding and a contract between the Lucas County Sheriff's Office and the Oregon Police Division to participate in a countywide OVI task force to provide targeted enforcement activity and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Rawson. Council?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Davish.
I move for passage of ordinance 95 of 2023 as an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Davish.
Second.
Second by Mr. Horniak. Ms. Ross, would you please take a roll call of council on passage of ordinance number 95 of 2023 as an emergency measure?
Mr. Davish?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Wollenzak?
Yes. Thank you, council. Please note that ordinance number 95 of 2023 did pass by a vote of 5 yeas, 0 nays. The next item, item number 96 of 2023, is being presented by Mayor Michael J. Safarian and Finance Director, Mr. Nick Roman. And we're going to go directly to Mr.
I'll start it
Mayor.
and then Mr. Roman
Thank you.
has anything to add. Council, you're aware that we do require new subdivisions to be lit with street lights. This is a total assessed project at the cost of the property owners. The developer did follow through with the application that we require, so it's pretty much a slam dunk.
Thank you,
Unless
Mayor.
Mr. Roman has anything to add, I
No,
think
nothing to add there.
I think you can go
Pretty
ahead on the
standard.
line on this one.
All right. Thank you very much. Council, is there any questions for the administration on item number 96? Hearing no questions, I will assign item number 96 with ordinance number 96 of 2023 and ask Ms. Rawson to read it into the record. Ms. Rawson.
Authorizing the Toledo Edison Company to install 750-watt LED Acorn post-top style luminaries on fiberglass poles with underground supply located in Eden Park Plats 5 and 6, providing for the assessment to benefited property owners and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Rawson. Council.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
I
Davish.
move for passage of ordinance 96 of 2023 as an emergency measure.
Thank you, Mr. Davish.
Second.
Second by Mr. Reeves. Ms. Rawson, would you please take a roll call of council on passage of ordinance number 96 of 2023?
Mr. Davish?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Wollenzak?
Yes. Council, item number, or ordinance number 96 of 2023 did pass by a vote of 5 yeas, 0 nays. We'll move to item number 97. Item number 97 is being presented by Mayor Michael J. Safarian and Public Service Director, Mr. Paul Roman. We're going to go directly to Mr. Roman. Roman?
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance is needed for the purchase of a billing software for the utility department. In 2019, we actually passed an ordinance for this same software. At that time, we had learned that we still had a few years left on our service contract with also CMI, the original manufacturer of the software. And we basically postponed the purchase. There was other reasons. I know the Annette Hagar was the previous utility supervisor, was preparing to retire, and we thought the next supervisor may want to choose a different software, and we wanted to make it be that supervisor would be on board with this. And so as time went on, knowing that we had more time, and clearly we still agree that CMI is the software for the department, we had planned to put this in our 2024 budget. But in talking with the software manufacturer, they are requiring an agreement 6 months prior to that purchase. So the purchase would still take place in 2024. The switchover would take place and likely in the winter of 2024, but they need this agreement signed now. And to do that is an act of council, and we do have to appropriate money for that, but the actual payment won't take place till 2024. So we did go back and check the memo from 2019 just to check with Munis, who's the other competitor, and their costs have gone up as well. CMI is still a third of the cost as Munis, and we think it's the best customer service. So be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Roman. Council, are there any questions for the administration on item number 95 of 2023? Here, no questions. I'll assign item number 95 with ordinance, or item number 97 with ordinance number 97 of 2023, and ask Ms. Rawson to read it into the record. Ms. Rawson?
Amending ordinance number 107, 2019, and authorizing the mayor and finance director to issue a purchase order to Creative Microsystems, Inc., DBA Civica CMI, 52 Hillside Court, Eaglewood, Ohio, for the purchase of CMI Authority software to be used by the Utility Billing Division in the Department of Public Service in an amount not to exceed $75,405 and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Rawson. Council?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr.
I move
Davish.
for passage of ordinance 97 of 2023 as emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Davish.
Second.
Second by Mr. Reeves. Ms. Rossman, would you please take roll call as council on passage of ordinance number 97 of 2023 as an emergency measure?
Mr. Davish?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Wallensack?
Yes. Thank you, council. Please note that ordinance number 97 of 2023 did pass by a vote of 5 yeas, 0 nays. Move to item number 98 of 2023. Number 98, or item number 98 is being presented by Mayor Michael J. Safarian and Parks and Recreation Commissioner, Mr. Tim Borton. Mr. Borton?
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance is simply, we have some vendors that we've been doing business with this year that we're getting close to a $25,000 threshold on spending with those vendors. So we've included those in here just to basically be able to spend that much money with particular vendors. These are vendors through our normal bidding process that have won those bids with the best bid criteria. And those are the ones that are reaching close to that threshold. This is not allocating any additional funds. This is already in our budget for uniforms and things. Last year, we did this in the beginning of the year. This year, we kind of held off to see which ones we actually were getting close to the 25,000. And that's the 4 that are listed here at this point in time. And if there's additional ones later in the year, we can bring those forward as well.
Thank you, Mr. Borton. Councilors, are there any questions for the administration on item number 98 of 2023? Hearing no questions, I'll sign item number 98 of 2023 with ordinance number 98 and ask Ms. Rossman to read it into the record. Ms. Rossman.
Authorizing the Parks and Recreation Commissioner to enter into contracts with Ag Choice, Inc. and Mr. Emblem, RCX Sports LLC, and BSN Sports for uniforms on a per-item basis through December 31st of 2023 and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Rossman. Council.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Reeves.
I move for passage of ordinance 98 of 2023 as an emergency measure.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves.
Second.
Second by Mr. Drake. Ms. Rossman, would you please take a roll call of council on passage of ordinance number 98 of 2023 as an emergency measure?
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yes.
Mr. Davish?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Wallensack?
Yes. Thank you, council. Please note that ordinance number 98 of 2023 did pass by a vote of 5 yeas, 0 nays. Move to the last item this evening. Item number 99 of 2023 is being presented by Mayor Michael J. Safarian and City Administrator Mr. Joel Mazer. Mr. Mazer?
Thank you, Mr. President and members of council. The senior center levy is up for renewal this year. In order for this to get on the ballot, council would need to first pass this piece of legislation. And this is a request to the county auditor's office. It's a two-step process. This is a request to the auditor's office to calculate the total current tax valuation in Oregon, essentially telling us how much the 0.5 mils would bring in revenue. And if passed, there would be a second piece of legislation that would need to be passed at the very next council meeting on July 24th, so that it can get on, we can get it filed by August 9th. So the Senior Center Levy Committee did meet, and they did have some help, and determined that only a renewal would be needed, not a replacement or an increase or anything like that. There should be an increase in some of the valuation from new construction. And at some point in time, we'll have Paula Benton, who's the executive director of the senior center, and staff and anybody else that she wants to bring in, present something to city council when the next piece of legislation will be brought forward. Again, if this is passed, this can be at a committee with a whole meeting, at a committee meeting, or during the next regular council meeting, however council wishes that to happen.
Thank you, Mr. Mazer. Council, is there any questions for the administration on item number 99 of 2023?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Drake.
Mr. Major, just for clarification, would this, if this does pass, would it go on the May primary, or I'm sorry, the September primary, or the general election in November?
My understanding is this would be on the general election.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Drake. Council, is there any further questions for the administration on item number 99? Hearing no further questions, I will sign item number 99 of 2023 with the resolution number 99 of 2023 and ask Ms. Rossman to read it into the record.
Requesting the county auditor to certify to the council of the city of Oregon the total current tax valuation of the city of Oregon and the dollar amount of revenue that would be generated by the 0.5 mils and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Rossman. Council.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Horniak.
I move for passage of ordinance 99 of 2023 as an emergency measure.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Second.
Second by Mr. Davish. Mr. Austin, would you please take a roll call, council, on passage of resolution number 99 of 2023 as an emergency measure?
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Davish?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Wallenzeck?
Yes. Thank you, council. Please note that resolution number 99 of 2023 did pass by a vote of 5 yeas, 0 nays. That ends the items for consideration and passage, or consideration and passage this evening. We do have a liquor transfer before us. Liquor transfer for 28521 Hideaway LLC, 1855 Woodville Road, Oregon, Ohio, being transferred from A&M Business, Inc. at the same address. Council, what's your pleasure?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Horniak.
I would move to instruct the clerk to check the box that we do not request a hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Second.
Second by Mr. Davish. Council, is there any objections? Here are no objections. We will ask the clerk to check the box that we do not see a meeting on that. That ends the items for council. We will move to the mayor's report. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President and council. Before you, you see some correspondence from the fire department and the police department. I am going to start with the fire department, and they are retirement resignations. And I'm going to go list these 3 individuals and ask council's concurrence in accepting the resignations. First, from Lieutenant Tom Chizak, and his effective date would be June 29th, 2023. Then Lieutenant Mark Bin, effective July 3rd, 2023. And last, firefighter Ryan Schaefer, effective July 6th, 2023. And once again, I ask council's concurrence in accepting the resignations from those 3 fire personnel.
Thank you, Mayor. Council?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Reeves.
I move to concur with the mayor's acceptance of the resignations of Tom Chizak, Mark Ben, and Ryan Schaefer.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. Second by Mr. Horniak. Council, any objections? Here are no objections. Mayor, council concurs with the acceptance of the resignations of the 3 individuals.
Okay, thank you so much. And now we have some hires in the police department. Okay, and I will start first and ask council's concurrence in the appointment of Nicholas Emsch. And Nicholas will be placed in new fire officer step 1 OPPA, which is a pay rate salary of $63,627.20. The effective startup date will be August 14th, 2023. And I would ask council's concurrence in the appointment, once again, of Nicholas Emsch to fire or police officer.
Thank you, Mayor. Council?
Mr. President,
Mr. Davish.
I'd like to concur with the mayor of the appointment of Nicholas Emsch, effective August 14th of 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Davish.
second.
Second by Mr. Reeves. Council, is there any objections? Here are no objections. Mayor, council concurs with the appointment of Nicholas Emsch as a Oregon police officer.
And next, I ask council's concurrence in the appointment of Joshua Moore. And he will also be placed as Officer Step 1 OPPA, which is an annual salary of $63,627.20. And the startup date is also August 14th, 2023. And once again, I'd ask council's concurrence in that appointment of Joshua Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. Council?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Davish.
I move to concur with the mayor of the appointment Joshua Moore, effective August 14th, 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Davish.
Second.
Second by Mr. Drake. Council, any objections? Here are no objections. Mayor, council concurs with the appointment of Joshua Moore as Oregon police officer.
And next, I would ask council's concurrence in the appointment of Noah Childress as police officer, step 1, annual salary $63,627.20. Effective startup date would also be August 14th, 2023. And I'd ask council's concurrence in that appointment of Noah Childress.
Thank you, Mayor. Council.
Mr. President,
Mr. Reeves.
I move to, concur with the mayor's appointment of Noah Childress as a new police officer, the effective date August 14th, 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves.
Second.
Second by Mr. Davish. Council, any objections? Hearing no objections, Mayor Council concurs with the appointment of Noah Childers as the Oregon Police Officer.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Mr. President. And I believe those individuals are present. To get to the next step, we usually have them come forward and give us a little bio of themselves for 15, 20 minutes. And then they can move on to the next step. Or 15 or 20 seconds if you would just want to say hi or welcome. But if each of you would wish to just introduce yourself, and I'm sure people would like to know who you are.
Hi, my name's Noah Childress. I just want to thank everybody today for giving me this opportunity. I'm very excited, very eager to get started. So thank you, guys.
We're excited. to have you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Reeves.
There might be some ulterior motives for hiring Mr. Childress. He was an all-state baseball player, so they can use him in the, in that, fireman, police.
Have,
The grudge match.
have,
Yeah, I think they're stacking their cards, Chief Clayton. O'Brien.
Hello, Council.
Yes.
I'm Joshua Moore. I've lived in Oregon my entire life. I just want to thank you and say how appreciative I am to get the opportunity to serve my community. And I'm very excited to get started.
Welcome.
yes, thank you.
Congratulations.
Yep, congratulations.
We traditionally allow two people to speak.
Hi, Council. My name is Nick Emsch. I appreciate the opportunity you guys are giving me.
Congratulations.
That does sort of complete my report. Just want to remind everybody, Boomfest this Saturday, something I put my heart and soul in, and hope everybody is able to come out and enjoy what we expect to be the biggest Boomfest we've ever had. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Mazur.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report.
Thank you, Mr. Mazur. Mr. Purpura.
No report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Purpura. Mr. Roman.
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Roman. Mr. Reeves.
No report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. Mr. Drake.
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Drake. Mr. Davish.
No report.
Mr. Davish. Mr. Horniak.
No report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Horniak. And I have no report from my standing committee, so therefore I will seek a motion to adjourn. Wait,
So-
before we adjourn, we do not have anybody signed up on the record to speak before council, so therefore I'll seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves.
Second.
Second by Mr. Davish. Any objections? Hearing no objections, meeting is adjourned.